Hello, everyone. Been a little while. Wanted to deal with some of the contentions I've been seeing in some of my comment sections. Kind of a weird thing because, like, all of a sudden, you get all this negative feedback. People saying you're not sick. People saying there's nothing wrong with you. People saying you don't have ALS, which good. Hey, I'm with you. If I don't, fantastic. I hope you're right every day. Um, and it's been so long now that I'm not like severely debilitated. I am inclined to believe that they're right. Whatever I do have, though, but if that's not what it is, um, it's very, very disruptive to the normal life of somebody. It creates all sorts of problems with sleep, creates all sorts of problems with just, run of the mill actions with your hands, working a normal job. So, just to give like a really brief overview of some of the things that's been going on, particularly lately, um, my tongue twitching has been pretty bad. So my tongue will just, I'll be sitting, with my just mouth closed as normal people do. And I can just feel my tongue flit like twitching over areas in the front, in the back, in the middle, on the sides, the edges, just on the top of my mouth against my teeth. This is not normal movement. These are small little fasciculations. Um, Nothing like just your tongue moving in a way that everybody has their tongue move. These are things that I paid attention to before, and I still remember the first time that my tongue twitched. It felt like I said, it felt like a battery had touched the kind of the side of my tongue, and I watched it. I put it at rest and uh, you know looked at it in the mirror, and it had like two little, almost like it was teeth marks, you know, just biting into the side of it. And that's been replicated before. Um, I've seen that again happen. I've had twitches on the tip of my tongue, on the very edge of it, that I have on video. I just don't want to post it because it's just weird to post videos of your tongue twitching, and everybody's is against that kind of a thing. And as far as in the BFS community and stuff like that, um, I have been having more cramping for sure. It doesn't really come at any random time. It's not like I get it really bad when I sleep, which I read a lot of people have. They have like really bad calf cramps or quad camp cramps or things like that that are like debilitatingly bad. And I've never had anything like that before. I just notice it when I'm doing normal activities, like when I'm holding something in my hand, my thumb right here, will just cramp up out of nowhere. Or on my, on my other hand, same thing. Or if I'm holding something up, with my biceps will just cramp in ways that like I said, I've known my muscles my whole life. And everybody likes to pretend that anxiety has this magical ability to make you perceive things that really aren't there. I don't believe that to be true. I've been dealing with my anxiety. I haven't had what I would call anxiety for a year and some change now. Haven't had a panic attack. Haven't even felt anxious in any meaningful way in that amount of time. There was a time, yes, where I was anxious. Was dealing with actual anxiety. That's completely dissipated. So I don't consider these things, you could say maybe they're remnants of anxiety or something, but I don't know anybody. My mother has a diagnosed anxiety disorder. She has agoraphobia. She doesn't have any of these weird physical issues that I have. I know tons of people who have struggles with anxiety or who are medicated for it, but nobody's tongue twitches on the top of their mouths. Nobody's nobody's thumb pulls in randomly, like you get a twitch that just moves your thumb into your hand, or has this weird tremor that when I hold things between my thumb and my middle finger, or I hold my finger too close together where my hold these two fingers just like spasm uncontrollably, and making it very difficult to grip things that are smaller in my left hand out of nowhere. I've never heard of anybody who has anxiety that just develops these weird neuromuscular problems. And I've met a lot of people. I have large friend groups and secure social networks and jobs that I've encountered. It's just I don't know anything like that. Yeah, they can perceive maybe that they're having a heart attack because their heart's beating really fast, or they're hyperventilating, or they're going to pass out, or something like that. I've seen all of these things, and sometimes they can have phantom weird feelings of transient manifestations like pins and needles, or maybe even some exaggerated muscle twitching, but it's always relegated and it's fairly normal. Like it might be 30% more than a normal person has twitches, or even 100% more than somebody who has twitches. But to twitch thousands of times a day for 2 years along every muscle of your body, like I've had a hot spot on my foot the past week and a half where the left side of the edge of my foot just twitches all the time. I have twitches that move my toes. My toes will just kind of like, they'll jut inward and they'll kind of do this little dance, which I've heard tons of other people who have ALS have that exact same twitch. Twitches all over my face, all over my, like, the sides. I had one last night where it's just the side of my head just like thump twitching, just bam, 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 constantly for like 2 hours. Um, it's really hard for somebody to be going through such continuous neuromuscular weirdness and for somebody to just go, oh, it's just anxiety, when the anxiety has been far dealt with for over a year, even more. And it never got any better. It never went away. It never reduced in any meaningful way. I kind of would always have hopes that it did, but it was just really, I stopped paying attention to it, and I wouldn't really try to count them or anything like that. And yeah, and they would seem to be decreased. Like when I'm out moving and I'm around in the world, you don't really feel muscle twitches. It's when you're still, it's when you're standing still, or it's when you're laying or you're sitting. And these things are disruptive. You're trying to listen to a talk or watch a video or watch a movie or just enjoy some solitude, read a book, anything like that. And you have this constant, ever present twitching sensation in your fingers, in your hands, in your feet, on your tongue, in your face, on your lips, in your arms, in your everywhere. I mean, literally my abdomen twitches all the time. That's one of my least favorite ones. It feels so weird. Big thumping glute twitches, like it sounds silly to say, but your butt cheek just like thumping away while you're sitting down. These things pull you out of your daily life all the time, and they wake you up out of your sleep. You wake up a little bit in the nighttime, as a lot of people tend to do. They kind of rouse up a little bit, and they just wake up twitching. Their left leg is just like on their quadricep is just pounding away. How do you can't feel normal with these kinds of things? It'd be like somebody who has kind of consistent pain. And so it's just an odd thing to have no sympathy, or to say, suck it up and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I get it. Like there are people suffering. And I've always said that. I've always said there's actually people who are radically declining who have actual ALS, and my heart goes out to them. I've never said anything like that. And I've always held hope that I didn't have it. Which, like I said, there's more, the longer on a longer timeline, the more time that goes by, the less likelihood that I do have it. Whatever I do have, though, is extremely disruptive and very annoying. And the fact that there's zero answers to it is extremely, uncomfortable. When no doctor can tell you what's wrong with you, when you have a chronic, unrelenting condition that happens every 30 seconds of every single day for 2 years, and nobody can tell you what it is. And then you hear about all these people who have been consistently misdiagnosed with something really terrible, whether it was Parkinson's or ALS or PLS or any of these very strange neurological diseases. It takes years for them to get diagnosed sometimes. So you can't. It's how do you feel secure? So maybe I don't. So yeah, I don't have it. Maybe maybe you guys are. Maybe these people, these detractors are correct. Fantastic. But that doesn't change the day-to-day experience of somebody who is suffering with something that's so chronic. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. If there was a way that I could simulate it to somebody, like a Chinese torture device, a water torture device, and they could just experience it for a week just to know what it's like to live with something like that, because they don't have, the ability to sympathize or to empathize with somebody who has a condition. And having to schedule the doctor's appointments and just getting no answers, and then nobody taking you seriously, like, because you're young and you look healthy and I gained weight. I did. Doctors told me that if you gain weight, then you're most likely fine. People who have ALS have accelerated metabolisms. They don't gain weight. They rapidly lose strength, and it's very obvious. You're a big guy. You don't look like you have ALS. That's for sure. I get it. That's fine. All that's cool info, but it's just hard. It's difficult to live with a chronic, some unknown chronic condition that nobody can even tell you what it is. And you get screwed over by people who give you the EMGs, because I had a woman doctor who tried to perform the EMG and she just laughed. She didn't even take it seriously. She thought it was so silly that I was even there. When I was ordered I had an order to get an EMG from my neurologist, because he's the one who took it seriously and he's concerned. He's like, I don't think that you have ALS. My neurologist has continued that, but he's like, I understand that you're suffering and that this is disrupting your life in such a profound way that I really want to help you. So he ordered the 2 EMGs that I had, and neither of them were taken seriously, on purpose by the EMG conductors. They didn't even want to do the needle exam on me because the nerve conduction portion of it was fine. But everybody who knows anything about EMGs knows that the needle portion is the only important part if you have ALS. Or if you have any form of issue with your motor neurons, So they would just do the nerve conduction study and they'd be like, yeah, there's nothing, that you're completely fine. Your nerves are healthy, so you don't have ALS. It's like that. These guys got no idea. These are lowly qualified people. They're just run-of-the-mill EMG specialists. They don't, they don't even. I even talked to the lady. She hadn't even seen a patient who had ALS before, so, or any type of weirdness like this. Everybody just dismisses you, And I've had friends, like I said, that have said that what I've got and what I'm experiencing is what's that, Munchausen by proxy? Like, I'm manifesting this in my own brain, after this year or so of therapy that I've done to try to resolve those mental hangups. Like I said, we thought all of that at first. We thought it's stress. We thought it was my job. We thought it was my diet because I had lost all the weight. I was eating, by the way, incredibly healthy, and my blood results reflected that. I was not deficient in anything. I had great numbers across the board on all metrics. I was eating all the food groups. I didn't exclude anything. I was just eating a healthy, lower fat diet, with lots of lean protein and fruits and veggies, and healthy starches and complex carbohydrates. Wasn't eating anything weird. I didn't have a hyper exclusionary diet. Nothing. So we thought it could have been all of those things at first, and so we tried everything to eliminate those things, deal with the anxiety, try therapy. Is therapy not resolving the anxiety enough? Well, then we'll go on medication. We'll get medication, and which I got on the Buspirone, and we'll resolve the anxiety. Try tweaking your diet in different ways. Try excluding certain foods. Try an elimination diet. Go lower carb, go higher carb, go more carnivore, go more ketogenic. All of these things I've tried for, it's been 2 years now. I've tried them on, dialed them in as best as I can to any normal functioning human being. Is it stress? Is it the job? Quit the job, got another job that was less stressful. Nothing changed. Nothing has affected this condition. No medication that I've tried has affected it. It seemed to, because that's the placebo. The only thing that was ever in my head was that it was resolving slightly. That was the perception aspect within it. Everything else, it's always been consistent, except for the very beginning symptoms that I had that were really weird. When I had those weird nerve pains that were all over my body that felt like little needle pricks were going on. That was the precursor to this. I had these little needle prick sensations, and then that was before I had gotten COVID. And then I got COVID, and then all of a sudden the muscle twitching started all over my body about 5 days into my recovery. So, but and then I didn't notice the tremor in my left hand. And I don't know when that started, so I can't say to it. I had those crazy vibrations where, like, my whole chest was vibrating while I was laying in bed. I would wake up and my whole chest felt like it was like a, rumble pack from the N64 or something. Just my foot would vibrate. Like, I'd get this really weird sensation in my foot. It would just, it'd buzz, and then it would stop buzzing for a few seconds, start buzzing again for 10, stop for 2. Very strange. And that migrated, up my body. It went from my foot to my leg to my chest, to the back of my spine, and then it stopped. So kind of weird for it to go up like that to my brain, almost essentially. But that's anecdotal. But that resolved. I don't really have the buzzing sensation. It happens very rarely, but I'll get little bits of it where a little bit of my nerves will buzz on my leg mostly. But I have that. But I had other symptoms that developed after that. I had the pattern glare that developed in my vision, which is all still there. The weird vibrations of these love letters on screens and on white text on a black background, and the thumping of the harsh lines on darker backgrounds and stuff. Like, it happens just in run of the mill objects. Like, I can see it. I can make it happen right now on where the side of my computer is black and the back of my wall is white. I mean, that didn't happen to me. That's not a manifestation of my brain. That's a real development. That happened later. So it's been, this whack-a-mole series of symptoms that nobody can figure out why it's going on. And I am very hesitant to believe that all these symptoms, weird vision issues, constant unrelenting 24/7, every 30-second twitches, all over my body, across all muscles, a weird grip. It's not hardly a tremor. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a spasm more than it is a tremor, because like tremors, it's like when you hold your hand out and you hold it straight and your fingers will move. I've seen, like, almost want to call it like an action tremor. I've seen those where like somebody will reach out and their hand will like shake real bad when they're reaching for something. It's when the muscle is engaged. That might be more so what it's like. Very odd though. I can't find anything to replicate it really. And who knows? I could just have carpal tunnel on my hand. Or I could have a weird pinched nerve. But it is weird that it comes with all of these other symptoms. I could have had it before it. I don't know. But all I can do is I can try to amass the symptoms, give it to a doctor, and then be like, please tell me what's wrong so that I can resolve these things at least one by one if they're not related. The problem is that I don't get those answers. Doctors don't know what to tell me. And whenever you go to a specialist, it takes months. Sometimes I have tried to get into University of San Francisco's, or I think that's what it's called, USMC or something, medical clinic, University of San Francisco Medical Clinic. I think that's what it's called. That's what my neurologist tried to recommend me to it. And my insurance shot me down both times. And it took 6 months for them to figure out if I was going to get approved or not. And both times I got rejected because I don't have good enough insurance for them to do that. So I have 2 failed EMGs that aren't trustworthy, according to my neurologist. I can't get into USMC Medical. Well, not USMC. That's the University of Marine Corps, or that's the United States Marine Corps, whatever it is. I don't know what the heck it's called anymore. It's been a while since I paid attention to it, but I can't get into there, whatever that clinic is called, Neuromuscular Clinic. It's like a specialized place because my insurance won't condone it. I don't have any evidence of a solid EMG. And those are the only people that will take my insurance for the EMG. Otherwise, I'll have to pay like $1,500 out of pocket to get an EMG, which I'm at the point where I just might do it. Because if I could have gotten at this point a full clear clinical EMG and felt secure about it, I would drop the ALS thing probably entirely. I think not even probably. I would just go, I don't have ALS. I really truly believe that I don't. And but I do have something weird. It's probably some weird manifestation of BFS that was brought on by, a viral illness, which I've heard that some people develop BFS from that. And I can say that I have this weird neuromuscular thing that goes on with me constantly. I freaking hate it. It disrupts my sleep. It basically ruined my marriage. It's, was one of the driving forces. There's a lot of other reasons why my marriage failed, but it was the final nail in the coffin, because I had this illness that I was trying so desperately to find a resolution for that me and my wife ended up divorcing because of it. So it took my family from me. It took my job from me because I was such an emotional wreck about it, because I was so afraid and I was experiencing such constant symptoms that I lost my job for that time. But I had quit it partially because I was like, I can't handle the stress, I don't know if I'm dying at this point. I want to spend all the time that I have with my daughter now, because I who knows what the time limit I have on this earth is left. So no answers, constant symptoms still, no resolution, no medication has helped. So I'm at a standstill. I don't know what to do other than just kind of live. And that is what I'm doing. I just went, I went to the lake and swam in the lake. We rented a boat and had a great time at the lake. That was my birthday. I was just up in the mountains this weekend. I am living a life. I don't know what people think that I do. I have very supportive friends, friends who love me. I go out and commune with them all the time. I have a very loving and supporting family. I just drove 3.5, 4 hours to go up into the mountains for a fun trip that I spent in the weekend. I rented a hotel room, stayed with my friend, went with me. We had a great time. So I am living life. That has never stopped. And I don't ever plan on stopping that. But my life is disrupted by a problem that I can't figure out. The other thing is like my legs will get real oddly weak. Uh, they'll feel it's like we talk about brisk reflexes. It's the same thing that happens to my hand, and that's what's kind of concerning about it. It's the same weird, like, it feels like it's on like a hairpin trigger, where like if you touch it, it'll react really fast. It's like when you tap on that tendon on your knee and your leg shoots up, like we talked about with brisk reflexes before. My legs, if I've kind of tired my legs out, and I kind of hold, and this happens with a lot of my limbs. If I try to kind of just put light pressure on an object or something after I've kind of exhausted it, it'll shake really badly. Like, not just in a normal, like, oh, you just exhausted a muscle. I've worked out. I lift weights, or especially I used to. This is not normal fatigue. This is like it's like, what do they call getting the word now? What do they call when you have the repeated swings of your leg when you hit your tendon? Man, I'm gonna have to edit this out, but I can't remember what it's called. Whatever. Like I said, I'm not even involved in this world anymore. I don't even like look things up. I don't research these things. I don't live online. I haven't been streaming. It's not like I'm playing video games all the time. I have friends asking me where I'm at constantly, like, who want to play video games with me. I'm out and about. I'm doing other things. But, my leg, like, like, from the toe to heel, like, my toe to my heel will just, like, do 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 do, and it'll bounce. Like, when you can activate that same reflex when you lift your leg up and you lift your heel off of the ground, and you can kind of bounce your leg with that reflex. I can't remember what it's called now, but, you can simulate that. Well, my leg will do that. I'll just be standing, and after I've kind of exerted myself in some way, my leg will just kind of if I start to barely lift my heel up off the ground, my leg will start to shake really bad. And I kind of have to focus on reorienting myself to stop my leg from like tremoring or shaking, whatever you want to call it, reflexing too hard. I don't know. Strange. And both of those things only happen on my left side. They don't happen on my right side at all. I don't have any tremor or any issue in my right hand. I don't have any of that tremor, weird movement in my right leg. It's only on my left side, which is strange. And that's, normally speaking, when you have some type of overactive reflex or something, which potentially that's what that could be. If it's only on one side, that's pretty concerning. So I have concerning symptoms. I have things that are consistent and that are chronic and that happen every 30 seconds. I don't know how else I can explain that. That is crazy. If you had anything that happened to you every 30 seconds for 2 years, anything, if you got a headache or you had a pain in your eye or you had a toothache or gas, anything, felt a tickle somewhere in your body for every 30 seconds for 2 years, you would probably be crazy. Everybody who thinks that would, or everybody who is throwing all these insults towards me and saying I should delete videos or whatever, like, if that happened to you, you would probably go insane. You'd probably be locked up in an asylum or something. Like, have a little bit of mercy on a brother, Jeez. I've been nothing but kind to people this whole time. And I'm not going to be told by anybody that things are in my head, that I only have anxiety. When I've got diagnosed, I've been told that I have brisk reflexes in my legs, in my knees and in my ankles. I've been told that I have brisk reflexes. I've been tested for Hoffman sign. I have bilateral Hoffman sign on both of my fingers. And when you test the Hoffman sign on my left side, it'll cause my index finger to tremor. To shake, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's not a tremor. I don't know the exact medical terms. Like I said, I'm not pouring over the literature anymore. I'm not hanging out in the subreddits anymore. And it hasn't been that case for a long time because I solved the anxiety portion of this, whatever this is. I took care of that really, really long time ago. I never want to I never want to go back and have the hyperfixation and hyperfocus anxiety ever again. So I'm not doing that. And I never will do that again. I do know that there is something weird going on with my body that's never happened before. It's not age. It's not anxiety. It's something neuromuscular. And if it's just BFS, then so be it. Sucks. I hate it. I would never wish it on my worst enemy. I think I would rather be in pain. Because at least I could take something to reduce the pain. At least I could just be a heroin addict, or I could be an opium addict, or I could be a Vicodin addict. At least I could just deal with the pain with some type of or alcohol or something. I could just numb it, or I can numb the nerves. Something. If anybody could just, and even if they couldn't tell me what it was for, at least I had a solution to it somewhat. I have no solution, no respite from the twitching and the buzzing and these thumping twitches and my vision issues. Nothing solves them. They're just there all the time with me every single day, when I sleep, when I wake up, when I eat, when I try to rest, read a book, play a video game, go on a vacation, go for a hike in the mountains. As soon as I stop moving, everywhere with me. I don't think people understand that. They don't have it absorbed it deeply inside of themselves enough to really comprehend what that's like. And for other people who have chronic problems like that, then my heart goes out to you entirely. I'm so sorry that you're suffering like that. It's got to be so. It's terrible, and I'm so sorry. I mean, gosh, I'm so sorry that whatever's going on with you, or if you have a terminal disease. If you have ALS, there's that gentleman who's in my comment sections and stuff, that he actually has ALS. And I remember because I've watched his videos a long time ago. I remember watching them. And that's so awful. I'm so sorry that that's happened to you, man. I just can't even imagine. I'm so sorry. I know that you were kind of hopeful when you were getting those steroid injections too. I felt that. I felt that hope for you. And awful, dude. My heart goes out to you entirely. So, and you had said that, you knew what I had and stuff. And man, please message me. Please send me information. If you've got all this information, I would love to have it. But anyways, I'm living life. I'm living the good life. I have no anxiety. I try my damnedest to not think about this chronic condition, but when you deal with something, like I said, that happens every 30 seconds, it is so supremely difficult not to think about it. You have to be like a monk, you have to be like a monastic to have that type of self-control. If it just happened every once in a while, like you hurt you got a sensitive back, and if you aggravate it, you get back pain or something like that. You get migraines every month or every 2 weeks or every week or something. At least you have respite at certain times where you can get over it and you can be like, all right, I'm fine. I know I have this weird condition that's chronic and it comes back every once in a while. But I'm good. It's obviously not killing me because it's not happening every 30 seconds. I can go a week and I cannot think about this thing that's happening to me. I don't get that luxury. Right now, when I'm sitting here talking to you guys, it has been popcorn all over my body. While my hands were sitting on my quads, my thumbs, pulled in a few times. I had twitches on the tops of my hands. I have that crazy twitch that keeps happening in the left side of my foot on the external edge. I felt my tongue twitch a couple times during some of my pauses. Just ignore them and go live your life. I am trying so hard. And now I've got the next battle, the next forefront where I've got to lose all this weight that I stress gained, over all this time, and I'm trying my hardest to lose the weight, trying to diet, but now I've programmed myself to have this crazy ravenous hunger and to eat these terrible foods and hard. I'm trying, just did cardio today. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about my weight. I am. So I hate it. I hate everything that's happened to me. My life, whatever this is, the way that my life took the turn, it's the lowest point in my life that I've ever been. Me personally. And if I could take it all back and if I could change it, I would. And so I'm trying to move on and I'm trying to be better and I'm trying to not lament and do everything that my therapist is telling me to do. My psych. I'm taking the Buspirone to deal with the anxiety, keeping the diet in check, trying to lose the weight, trying not to overconsume calories. And so hard not to do. Trying to do everything right, guys. I promise. Trying to heed people's words. Even if they're unkind, I try to heed their words because I'm like, who knows, man? If they're upset, that's okay. If they're upset with me, that's okay. I'd be mad too. I'd be mad too if I had a disease that was killing me and some stupid guy on fucking YouTube thought that he had the same disease, but he doesn't. I'd be mad too. I don't blame you at all. I love you, actually, as a matter of fact. I feel I have such great compassion and feelings of love towards you. And I weep for those kinds of issues, and I feel badly that I even started this channel and that I even started talking about it because the fact that it's not killing me potentially almost makes me out to be a liar. I am happy that it's not killing me, or at least it doesn't seem to be. And then I've gotten 2 full years to be with my daughter and to watch her grow, and she's talking so well now and stuff. So I'm happy for all that. I'm a strong person. I'm not enslaved to my anxiety or to my desires or the Reddits and the researching papers about medical stuff. I have no interest and no desire and no involvement with any of that stuff anymore. All I have left is my condition and my life and my daughter. Everything else has been lost. Lost my house in the divorce. Still here, but that's a lot of stuff's getting moved. It's all messy. Lost my house. Lost my family in a way. Shared time with my daughter. Now I'm overweight, still twitching. Not anxious anymore, still twitching constantly. Getting the cramps, have the vision issues, have the weird hand tremor, have a lot of the symptoms that overlap with ALS, but I'm not declining like I should be if I have ALS. So I'm just floating around, unknowing about what's going on with me, and just trying to make every day my best day, and trying to not, fall into a ravenous depression. And I'm not. For most days, I'm not. Then I get people on here that are just like condemning me for even struggling with the idea that I may have had a chronic condition when it wasn't just me who was concerned with it. It was my neurologist and my doctor who sent me to the neurologist in the first place. I wouldn't even have got a recommendation to the neurologist if I didn't have something that was strange that they couldn't have figured out, I just wish that I had some form of answers. I wish that I could find something that helped. I wish I could just take a week off. The only thing that I know how to do that makes me not do it is to stay in motion. And I'm so overweight that it's hard to stay in motion. And so now I'm just like, now I've got this dedication where I'm like, I'm going to walk, 4 miles every day just to get a time of peace. That will be my time of peace now. I had realized that the other day. I was like, if that's the only time that I can get a resolution, or because I don't even feel it anymore, I will just stay in motion for as long as I can, and it'll help me lose the weight. Because a lot of the things that I love to do, like read and, to sometimes play games with the boys, or to, to research like I used to do, all that stuff proves futile because it's so hard to maintain the focus to do it anymore. Sorry for getting emotional. Actually, I'm not sorry. Get emotional if I want. I'll beat your ass in real life. Even as an overweight, twitchy man, beat the shit out of you. Kidding. I love you guys. I love my little channel here. Please just have mercy on me, man. I'm just a struggling dude. I'm just a struggling dude who lost a lot of stuff and has a chronic condition that nobody can fucking figure out. Anyways, sorry I haven't been posting more. I am sorry about that. Like I said, it's hard to sit down and to do stuff. Because when you sit down for long enough, you're reminded, of what's going on with you, and you feel all those little things and you can't help it. So I'd rather just be up. I'd rather I'd rather just be up doing something, driving, doing anything that really sets me out of my body. Playing with my daughter, taking her places, taking her to the beach, taking her to the lakes, walking around with her. Anyways, I appreciate everybody who's just been consoling and had prayers for me, and for those who have actual illnesses that are fatal or are terminal and have had things robbed from them, people who have chronic conditions that they don't get answers for and have been, taken advantage of by this medical establishment and just the world in general, who have gotten fired from jobs because they were stressed out and their life was too hectic and they just couldn't keep it together. For people who have been divorced in the lowest point in their life when all they needed was love. Heart goes out to everybody who's experienced stuff like that. I'm so sorry that it happened to you, because it happened to me like a 747 came out of the sky and hit me. Anyways, everybody be well in whatever way that you can. I just kind of make it through. Not giving up. I'll never give up. It's like my friend talked about, how could I not after going through this? Because he asked me, did I ever have any contemplations of, of ending it all? I said that, to be honest, I'm just too much of a coward, too afraid of dying. So I cling very tightly to my life. It's too much of a coward. I can't even entertain the idea. So nobody's got to worry about something like that. That's not what this is. This is not a goodbye way like that. It's just me kind of trying to address some people who it's a lot easier to critique a man that you haven't really heard him rant and rave. I'm just like it's a comment. I'm just a typed out message on a website. That's what this is. And some other incoherent ramblings. Anyways, take it easy, everyone. Until next time.